TV and the KPRC 2 Plus live stream. The news starts now.
The HISD board approved the change without any details, and our neighborhood has essentially been abandoned by the HISD board.
Parents at several HISD schools up in arms tonight, concerned their kids will no longer allowed to attend their zoned schools.
New at 10, police need your help identifying this man. They say he used his dog as a distraction to steal a package from this Montrose area home.
Do you still want to get married, or do we start calling everyone because we have 300 guests?
It was supposed to be one of the best days of her life. Instead, she was scammed out of thousands of dollars. Her wedding planner disappearing with her money. 4 ways to keep it from happening to you. Only on 2 tonight, a Harris County man accused of making 3D printed copies of counterfeit universal mail keys has been indicted by a grand jury. Thank you for joining us at 10. I'm Andy Cerrone.
And I'm Lisa Hernandez. Keith and Danny are on assignment. The keys could be connected to a string of other crimes Larry Piper is charged with, including buying a car and renting a townhome in someone else's name.
KPRC 2's Bryce Newberry live at the Harris County Jail tonight with everything that we've learned, Bryce, about this complex investigation.
Yeah, Andy and Lisa, this is really the first time that we've covered a case like this. Tonight, that man is here in the Harris County Jail after he allegedly told Houston police officers he made 3D printed copies of keys used to open neighborhood mailboxes for money. Tonight, he's also facing 5 felony charges, accused of buying a nearly $60,000 Tesla using a stolen identity. This townhouse in Montrose became home for a convicted felon last July, leased for $37.50 a month, according to court records, just weeks after he got a loan from Chase Bank to buy a 2022 Tesla Model Y. The problem? Both transactions went through using stolen personal information of a Houston man, records show. The big-ticket items, not for him, but instead for 42-year-old Larry Piper.
He's basically accused of using people's identities without permission.
In September, a woman claimed Piper stole a bag of her packages at this apartment complex off the Katy Freeway. Caught by Houston police with a counterfeit universal mailbox key known as an arrow key, police say Piper told them it was a 3D copy, admitting he got an arrow key from a friend and made 3D printed copies for money. An arrow key in the wrong hands could give crooks a lot of access to a cluster mailbox like this one, and not just this one, but all of these, and it's universal for apartment complex panels and collection boxes too.
We intend to prove that he manufactured or adapted an arrow key to use as a criminal instrument to commit crimes like forgery, mail theft, identity theft.
After the September arrest, Piper got released on bond, records show. In February, police connected him to the townhome and Tesla, arresting him again and discovering mail theft victims like Andrea B.
Kind of speechless for a moment, and I just took a pause and just couldn't figure things out.
She'd been waiting on a replacement credit card to arrive in her apartment complex mailbox. Instead, detectives found it in his car, she says, with handwriting on the paperwork.
He had my social security number and my date of birth.
She thought she was doing everything right to protect her identity, so she froze her credit with the 3 major bureaus and says now she doesn't feel safe using the mail.
And I'm worried about what information this person might have of mine and, you know, what the future holds.
And court records show Larry Piper has a criminal history dating back to 1999 in Harris County, as well as convictions in other counties. Tonight, records also show he's being held here in the jail without bond. And we did reach out to the United States Postal Inspection Service about this case. That's the federal law enforcement arm of the Postal Service, but a spokesperson declined to share any details, citing an ongoing investigation. Andy?
All right, Bryce, before we let you go, you have an update on a story that you brought us last night at 10 about a Houston area home renovation theft scheme involving a contractor and his wife who were accused of stealing thousands of dollars from homeowners. What more have you learned about this?
Well, Andy, today Katy ISD confirmed that the wife, Andrea Pierce Miller, is a teacher within the school district. We've also confirmed that someone else has come forward and filed a police report alleging that her husband Alec Miller stole from them as well. I've been hearing from viewers throughout the day and evening reaching out, claiming they had bad business dealings with the Millers. So I'd love to hear from you too if you have any similar experiences. You can see my email there at the bottom of the screen. And by the way, Andy, I just checked before the show. Records show that the Millers are both still wanted tonight.
Still wanted as another alleged victim comes forward. Bryce, thank you.
Also new at 10, Houston police need your help identifying the man seen in this video taking a package in the Montrose area. Now, in the video, you can see the man with his dog use what looks like a pooper scooper to move the package over to the gate. He then leaves and comes back without the dog, this time holding what appears to be a rope to get the package over the fence. If you recognize him, you're urged to call police.
New at 10, a drastic decision made by HISD in just 48 hours could prevent some children from going to schools that used to be zoned for their neighborhoods.
Yeah, the changes affect two A-rated schools, Wharton Dual Language Academy and Helms Elementary. Devin Clark joining us tonight outside of HISD headquarters to break down the new designations and also parent frustrations.
Some of the parents I spoke to say that they specifically moved to the affected neighborhoods to send their kids to those schools you mentioned. Now, in addition to worrying about where their kids may end up if they're not accepted, they're also concerned about how the changes will affect property values.
It's the culture, it's the language.
Jessica Soder moved to her home in the Heights so that her kids could go to the English-Spanish dual language and top-rated James F. Helms Elementary School. Now, she's worried that that dream may not realize for her soon-to-be kindergartner because of an item put on HISD's agenda Tuesday and passed Thursday. Helms is now what's called a separate and unique school.
The first concern is, hey, they didn't give us that year-long planning period. They waived their own policy, which is concerning on many levels.
Because she says parents weren't given proper notice that new students will have to apply to go to separate and unique schools, she didn't apply for the HISD Phase 1 lottery, nor did she apply to private schools.
Those deadlines have come and passed because we were planning on coming here. Now we're very much in limbo and up in the air. They kind of pulled the rug out from underneath us.
Soder adds she's confused about how the new classification will be beneficial because Helms is already one of 44 magnet programs and the majority of students here are already magnet.
Where you actually apply and magnet and you are not a zone child. The zone children is a very small population.
The likely effect on property values that homeowners may not yet know about raises another concern.
With Helms, property values are going to be higher because they are zoned to A-rated schools. If our zoning changes, that will 100% affect your property value.
Similar sentiments were brought up at Midtown Bar and Grill, where a group of parents hoping to send their kids to Wharton Dual Language Academy in Montrose, now also a separate and unique school, met with HISD board member Adam Ravon.
The HISD board approved the change without any details, and our neighborhood has essentially been abandoned by the HISD board.
As far as what separate and unique entails,
so there's some nuance to special and unique designations that I won't get into. I'll let the administration kind of cover that.
HISD said in a memo that it will be working over the next 60 days to create a plan for the long-term future of each campus. The first parent you heard from also mentioned that HISD Superintendent Mike Miles said that he wouldn't interfere with top-rated schools like Wharton and Helms. We tried to get an interview with Mike Miles today, but we were told that he was not available. Reporting outside of HISD headquarters, Devin Clark, KPRC 2 News.
Devin, thank you. Next at 10, couples spend months, sometimes years, planning their dream wedding.
But what happens when your wedding planner disappears? Next at 10, 4 ways to help keep your perfect day from being ruined by scammers.
And you'll only see it right here on KPRC 2, a sneak preview of the Summer Olympic Games in Paris. Daniela and Keith are in New York for day 2 of Team USA's Media Summit. Frank?
All right, it's summertime out there. It's warm and cloudy. Our normal low 60, 76. We're not going to get even close to 60 tonight. It's going to stay in the 70s, it looks like. We continue with breezy and humid conditions, although a couple of rain chances toward the end of the week, and a much better one as this front comes through. I'll time it all out for you when KPRC 2 News at 10 continues.
New at 10, the average cost of a wedding broke the $30,000 mark for the first time last year.
While the life event is one of the most stressful and expensive ventures a couple makes, wedding planners can help make it seamless, but only if they show up.
Scammed on her special day.
I always think back to like what my day could have been.
Ana Ochoa reliving her wedding day when her dream wedding went from planned perfection to chaos.
It's one of the most special days in anyone's lives. And to be robbed of that, she didn't take that just from me. She took that from our parents, our siblings, our whole family.
She being her wedding planner. Ana paid her more than $13,000 to secure the venue, flowers, and food. A deal, Ana thought, because the planner claimed she'd waive the taxes if she was paid in cash.
A month before the wedding, everything was already paid off.
Paid for, but not put on. Instead, the morning of Ana's wedding, she received texts that the reception wasn't happening.
Do you still want to get married, or do we start calling everyone because we have 300 guests?
Ana's uncle hosted her reception in his backyard, not the dream ending to her otherwise perfect day.
Wow, now there are ways you can avoid wedding scams, according to DestinationIDo.com. Make sure you have a signed contract by both parties and keep copies. Read it first, of course, and most scammers will not want any written proof around.
And only work with planners who take 50% at signing, then accept the remaining payment on the day of the wedding or a couple of weeks before. That helps prevent someone from just taking off. Remember, reviews are important. Check multiple websites and don't be afraid to reach out for more information. If a deal sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
The most important tip, take your time. Start planning early if you can. That way you don't feel rushed when selecting vendors. Planning a wedding is definitely stressful. Staying on budget can be tough. Right now on clicktohouston.com, where to find budget-friendly wedding options. Just search budget-friendly wedding in the search bar.
Tomorrow marks 100 days until the start of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. KPRC2 is your Olympics station.
Our Daniela and Keith are in New York City meeting with Team USA, getting a sneak peek at the upcoming games.
Good evening from New York. It was another full day of Team USA's Media Summit. We spoke to several athletes, including a few who have Texas ties.
That's right. We spoke to an athlete who's going for her 4th gold medal, a Texas athlete who has an awesome comeback story, and a sprinter, a track and field star who wants her 3rd Olympic medal.
With 3 Olympic medals, numerous goal-scoring records, World Player of the Year awards, what drives U.S. women's water polo sharpshooter Maggie Steffens to keep showing up to train at 5 in the morning for the rigorous training to compete with Team USA? Just the love of the sport and her teammates.
How do you feel now going into Paris? Just was excited. Yeah. And a little, I'm feeling the anticipation, knowing it's 100 days out.
Maggie comes from sporting pedigree. Her parents and siblings all played competitively. After COVID restrictions in the Tokyo Games, Maggie says she's very excited about having fans in the crowd again.
What's it going to be like to be able to have the crowds and be able to share that with your family members?
Oh my gosh, it's going to be such a blessing. You know, you don't realize it till they're not there.
25-year-old Texas native weightlifting star Jordan De La Cruz is fighting for her second chance at gold at the Paris Olympics after failing to medal in the Tokyo Games.
Whenever someone asks what sport I do and I tell them weightlifting, they literally look at me and they're like, "Are you sure?" And the reason why I got to this place is because I saw women who look like me do that.
Sprinter Gabby Thomas, who trains in Texas, is now aiming for gold in Paris after winning a silver and bronze in the Tokyo Summer Olympics.
We're in such a special time of women's sports, but specifically women in track and sprinting. I think we're all kind of pushing each other just to be better versions of ourselves, better athletes for running really fast time.
Gabby still has to qualify to compete in Paris with Team USA, and in order to do that, she has to go to the track and field Olympic trials, June 21st through the 30th in Eugene, Oregon. Before that, USA swimming trials are June 15th to the 23rd in Indianapolis, and the much anticipated USA gymnastics Olympic trials are June 27th to the 30th in Minneapolis.
Yeah, those trials and others will be overlapping, and they're only a few weeks before the actual games in Paris because they want to make sure that the athletes peak at just the right time. We want to see them peak at the right time as well.
We're in New York City tonight. Back to you.
So many talented athletes to keep our eyes on. Again, Keith and Daniela are in New York City for the final day of Team USA's Media Summit. Tomorrow celebrates 100 days until the Summer Olympics games.
We will have live reports across all platforms all day long, including right here on KPRC2, the KPRC2 app, and clicktohouston.com.
Yeah, you saw in that shot there, Keith had a vest on.
I know. It's been nice and cool and comfortable there, unlike here.
Exactly.
But this weekend was great.
It was
fantastic.
I want to go back to this is Mary at the Crawfish Fest.
Okay.
I don't think she realized her alliteration, but this is her crawfish crowd.
I love it.
This is Crawfish with Candace, Crawfish with Corley, and Crawfish with Keith.
All the bases covered right there.
There you go. Thanks for that. I'm glad everybody had such a good time. Not having a good time up to the north. Look at all those big storms from Wisconsin right on down toward Memphis, Tennessee. That's where that big low is. We're not catching anything out of this, but we're just sort of unsettled. It's foggy at the coast. We continue with these clouds, a little bit of rain, and better chances as we head toward Thursday and Friday, and then especially Saturday into early Sunday. So this is what we have right now, and this up here through the Ohio Valley, that's where we're going to continue to see some trouble tomorrow. And then as we see this front move down here on Thursday, it doesn't do much, but this second front tries to at least spark a shower or two. So this is Thursday right along the front, 9 p.m. Could see a pretty good storm or two. Doesn't last too long. But then again on Friday, another thunderstorm chance, especially out to the west. Then things really get going as this front tries to back up. That high tries to push it through. So a little battle here going on, and that's going to be the focus for showers and thunderstorms across the northern part of the state. So this is 8 p.m. Saturday. This continues to move toward Houston. This is midnight, and then as we see the overnight, there's 6 a.m. Sunday. So late Saturday into early Sunday looks like the best window for severe weather, and then it gets out of here as we head toward 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. So warm and muggy continues, some upper 80s by Friday. Those weekend storms do give us a nice cool down, but we've got to get there first. It's not really going to be until late Sunday and Monday that we see that. So this is where we're seeing the severe threat tomorrow. No surprise there, right where that big low is, but notice it extends into our part of Texas as we head into Thursday. So it's on the scale of 1 to 5, it's a 1, but still it's not a 0. So we'll have to watch for at least a few pops back out to the west and the northwest of Houston as we head into Thursday. Probably a few more on Friday to the west, and then I expect the big bullseye to be over our area for Saturday into Sunday. I think most of the state, I think, is going to have, at least in the northern areas, a bullseye for some severe weather. So that's the day to watch. 70s go to the 60s on Sunday, lows in the 50s finally on Monday and Tuesday. Highs do the same thing right there in the 80s and then dropping into the 70s once that front comes through. The humidity levels are still going to be there Friday and Saturday on the muggy side. A little sticky Sunday, but it does improve nicely as we go into next Monday. Right now 77, south-southeast winds at 11 down on the island. Pretty much the same, 74 southeast at 14. They have extended that high rip current risk through tomorrow evening. It was going to expire tonight. It didn't. So that's through Wednesday evening, really all along the Texas coast. So please be careful. Tracking fog right now, no real issues. 7, 8, 9 mile visibility, 6 in Katy. That may start to come down a little bit as we go into the overnight. Temperatures right there in the mid 70s. Lows tonight only down to about 72, 74. So it's going to remain about where it is. 84 for tomorrow, 20% chances of rain with 86, 88. Then the weekend, there's that front. We get to Monday, looks pretty good. Temperatures in the 50s and the 70s for Earth Day, but we're not there yet.
No?
Yep, we'll get there.
Yes,
Yep.
we will,
We
Frank.
will.
Thank you.
All right, let's get on over to Randy McElvoy. Tough night for the Stros. Randy, what do you have?
Yeah, wind's a little hard to come by.
Yeah.
It's really a struggle out of the gates for these guys. Small sample size, but pretty soon we can't just keep saying it's still early, right? Time to get it going. Tonight was not that night for the Astros. Another loss to tell you about. We're going to show you how it all went down at Minute Bay Park tonight. That's straight ahead. Plus, the LPGA's first major championship of the year back at H-Town for the Chevron Championship in the Woodlands. What it means to the world's #1 player to be back. Coming up.